River Golf Club kitchen. Welcome to another one of Chef Mo's cooking classes. Today is going to be a little bit more about myself than about actual cooking. We're going to make a dish that is inspired by my mom and dad. So I've been here 6 years now. Today's actually my anniversary day. So it's been really good run. I really enjoy being here. Love the members, love what I do, love the staff I have, mentoring them, watching them grow, and actually other ones grow and actually leave and do very well where they're at. But a little bit about myself. I'm a local kid. I grew up in Oceanport, New Jersey. My parents had a pizzeria restaurant in Highlands. They opened in 1971. I was born in 73. They had that up until 84. We would do about 120 people with only 9 tables. So we could do 36 people at a time and probably about 200 pizzas. So it was one of the coolest things to learn about the food business. As a kid, I would go to the markets with my brother up from Manhattan, 8, 9 years old, early in the morning before school, and go to the meat market, fish market, and produce market. I learned a lot about the business on that end. We go to the lobster barn, which was in Highlands, owned by Mr. Cottrell, and I can remember as a little kid going and picking my own lobster every time we went. So there's a lot of good memories from there. And then as I got older, in 1983, my parents bought a restaurant in Long Branch with the name Bella Vista. Had that until 99. My brother had taken over at that point, and it was called Louis. But there's where I really learned my passion for food. I learned how to break down meat next to my brother, cook with my mom in the kitchen, making many pasta items. She worked the pasta station. My brother was like the saute grill chef. I learned from both of them. I used to work hot appetizers and cold appetizers at 12 years old as a regular line cook. So it was a really good experience. I also worked in the front of the house. I learned how to do a lot of tableside service. I bartended as I got older. Worked as a captain, server, maitre d', whatever needed to be done, just to get the job done. And that's what I carry on until today. My parents retired, semi-retired in the late 80s. We moved to Florida. I went to high school down in Florida. And then when I was about 22, I came back to New Jersey. And that is when I really fell back in love with food again, working for my brother at the restaurant, which was Louis. And I decided to go to the French Culinary Institute. So my mom and dad are here with my chef Henri from culinary school. My parents are from a small town, Idola. It's right in the middle of the map here. And then this is a picture of their town, what it looks like even today. This town is thousands of years old. There's the old castles and buildings that are still there. And I went to the French Culinary in '99. That's where I graduated from. Still friends with some of my instructors and also some of my friends from students who I was with in school with at the time. And then over here is my mentor, Philip DeMilo. He and I know each other over 20 years. He was the executive sous chef at the Hilton New York when I worked there. And later on, I worked for him at Robin's Wolf Catering, where I was executive sous chef, executive chef. Also as executive sous chef at Chelsea Piers, when he was executive chef there. He's also helped me get into the Sofier Society. We're both members of the ACF. This was at an ACF Academy of Arts dinner in Manhattan. So he and I are still very close and talk on a regular basis, and is like a family member to me. So unfortunately, both of my parents are deceased. So this is something that I would like to make that is very touching to my heart, and that my dad really loved. He was kind of plain. My parents were both raised during the Second World War, so a lot of the food and rations were not available. So this is something that he really enjoyed, kind of built off of what they had around for them. So we got a loaf of sourdough bread. We're going to take it. We're going to slice a couple pieces off. We're going to toast them in the oven, get them nice and crispy. You can use dry bread too. You can buy they're called frizzelle. You can find them in Italian Deli. So we're going to take a piece. We're going to cut it about a ½ inch thick. Take 2 pieces. We're only using 1, but and then a little virgin olive oil. A little pepper. A little fresh cracked sea salt. We're going to pop it in the oven for a good 8-10 minutes. Okay, now we're going to make our tomato part. We got some tomatoes here, your regular beefsteaks. We're just gonna make a rough cut on these. These can be any way you want to cut them, so it doesn't make a difference. This is just, you know, pretty much freestyle, whatever way you like it. These in the bowl. So dinner doesn't always have to be a hot item, you know, starch, vegetable. You can make your own kind of version of a starch and vegetable, something a little more fresh, especially this time of the year. As the weather gets a little warmer, you don't have to have that heavy item that we would normally eat during the winter months. So as you can see, I'm just cutting them up whatever way I feel like. Whatever comes So I think we're gonna go with just 2 tomatoes. Got a little onion here. We're gonna really fine shave the onion. We want to make it as paper thin as possible. If you have a mandolin, this will work fine. We do about 3 cloves of garlic. We're just going to smash the garlic for some flavor. So usually you take the garlic out, you can leave it in there, but you want to make it big enough so you can see it. Throw the garlic in there. We have some cannellini, or these are actually gigante beans, where you can use like a cannellini bean. We used to make our own fresh. These are actually out of a can, but they're fine as well. You actually want the water, is very important as well. So the liquid, the acqua fava, is very, very important. Whether from chickpeas, white beans, the red beans a little dark, and even the black, but you want to have some of that liquid they cook the beans in, is where a lot of flavor comes in. Some of the starch gets released, and that's where a lot of flavor. So we're going to actually add a decent amount, probably I'd say about almost a half a cup to this. We cook our own beans at home, garlic, onion, rosemary, thyme, fresh basil. My mom would always make, she'd keep the ends of prosciutto, any kinds of ends of meat, and she actually would cook those off first and add the beans to it and make like a stew, or you can just cook them straight up and you can use them for salads or make a pasta fagioli, whatever else. But a lot of times we would cook our own beans from dry. But the liquid is very, very important. So now we have that. We're going to add a little bit of red wine vinegar. Not a whole lot, just a little bit for the acid. Nice pinch of dry oregano. The most important part will be the fresh basil. So we're going to pick the basil, and what you want to do is you're going to leave the big leaves till the end. You're going to roll the small ones into the big ones, make a nice chiffonade, so you have a nice, really clean looking threads of basil. And they don't get all black. If you chop them real rough, they do turn black, and the flavor changes on them. They actually become a little bitter. They'll get a little black and make your food kind of look dark. So this way, roll the pieces up inside. Then you're gonna go real nice and fine. You can watch all the pieces almost like fly off the side of the knife. Now, if you like other things, you can make it any way you'd like. If you want to add some mint, if you want to add parsley, if you want to make it a little more Caribbean, add some cilantro, go right ahead. If there's any other way you like it, this is the way we did it at home. This is really touching to me. So we have our basil. We're going to add some pepper, and salt, and some pepper as well. Fine ground sea salt is very nice. Not going to go crazy with the salt because we're going to add some Parmigiano too. If you want to add some hot pepper, you could add hot pepper in. If you had some long hots you grilled off from the night before, or if you like long hots, those are good too. We'll give it a little stir. And you can make this the day before, and it's actually even better because all the flavors really start melting together really nicely. You can see how nice and juicy it is. We're gonna want that juice because it's actually gonna soak up on the bread and really give a nice flavor. And they're all gonna really come together really well. So I have a piece of Reggiano, Parmigiano, and we're just gonna make some nice shavings using a peeler. You can grate it with a box grater if you'd like. I like to do some shavings, they're really nice, get some really good flavors together. Kind of fold it all together, let everything really marinate. So the longer you let this go, the more flavor it'll have, and the next day is even better. If you like white beans, you can use chickpeas really well. You can use red beans if you like as well. It's going to be a little bit darker in color. Cherry tomatoes can be used, whatever tomato you find. If you have really ripe tomatoes, it works really good too. They'll break down a little bit with the vinegar and the oil. So now we have our salad just about ready. Okay, our bread's nice and toasty. Just let that cool off for a second. So with our salad, we're going to serve some steak. This is Tyler Martinetti. He's my sous chef. Tyler's been working here since I was here. He was here before me, actually. He was the grill cook then and was promoted in 2017 to sous chef. And we worked hand in hand every day, and I couldn't do it without him. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Great having you. And we're going to finish up making this plate. So we're going to take and put the bread on the plate. It's nice and crispy. We're going to take, at this point, we're going to take some of the juice. We're just going to get the bread nice and wet. And that's really going to help. We're going to add a little more olive. We're going to add some olive oil into the salad. We're getting all those beautiful flavors together. A little more juice on top. And then steak. The way we always had steak in my house, especially with this dish, would be to take the steak, let it rest, and then we're going to slice it. You see it slices really nice. And it's not super hot, it's still nice and warm. We're going to plate it. And then what my mom would do would be to take and put some fresh lemon zest on it. Almost like a, kind of like a gremolata, but not a full gremolata. Just a little bit of lemon zest. And then a little bit of juice. Then we'll finish it off with some olive oil. A little more fresh cracked pepper after having it on the grill. And some salt. And this would be dinner in my house. And a lot of times we do our homemade wine. Between my dad and my uncle, we'd make significant amounts of wine every season, up until I was about 12 years old. So we made a lot of wine together. We would jar about 1,000 jars of tomatoes every year, and they would be for both families, my mom's family, our family, and my aunt's family. And they would be given out to friends. We'd also make prosciutto, soppressata, marinated artichokes, eggplant, a lot of different items. Through my first grade teacher, who was Italian, I brought a gallon of homemade red wine and a quart of the pig's blood pudding made from the pig's blood that my brother slaughtered the pig that year. So a little different way of growing up, different way of doing things, but really enjoyable. So this is a little piece of my heart. Give it back out to you guys. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you at the club. Thank you.